Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. I know I did, and I'm sure everybody is just overwhelmed with all the sport karate awesomeness that happened over the weekend. It just kind of is what happens when it's Diamonds weekend, and then we're getting ready for Waco World Championships next weekend. People are just kind of, if you didn't go, kind of like me, I'm pumped up now, and I'm like planning for what's going next, and
That's
I'm just excited.
after Diamonds. After Diamonds, it's like a measuring stick from like everybody was like really going gangbusters for the Diamond.
Yeah.
Right. And then whether, no matter what happened, because obviously there's more people that didn't do well than did do well.
Right. Yeah.
But the many champions. Well, didn't used to be. So then it's kind of a measuring stick because they're like, all right, where am I? And then you're making a decision like, do I have world championships? Am I doing Pan Ams? Or is it just 2022? All right.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so good because it lets you know, like, where am I now? And it's the truth, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's the best. I mean, I love the tournament. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Well, I say it's the truth, but it said kind of. And we're going to talk about that. About how something played out. Maybe how it should have played out or shouldn't have played out. And we're gonna
God, here we go. We're gonna get so much hate.
Maybe I don't know, man. It all depends. We don't know.
Well, yeah, it could have been all kind of. Anyways, we are sponsored by the Virtual Fight Tour, and you know what? How most people would end the show. Let's just talk about that final fight because everybody else on our network has talked it kind of through the schedule and how it went. We're not going to do that way. We're just going to go random.
Reverse because
man, what a show!
That's the fight that we were like,
this is what we want to see.
We wanted. The only other thing I could think of would be like Jack.
Maybe
instead, but like going into it, you're like, nah, I want to see Bailey versus Avery.
Yeah, Bailey versus Avery. This is what we both said. We both agreed that that's where it's going to be.
And I gotta say thank you to Bailey Murphy.
Yeah,
because my picks have been so bad that even Bailey Murphy is so much better that even I can't mess that up.
Right.
So thanks,
Bailey. There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Man, this dude again. We're talking about how many tournaments now has he won every single thing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I posted something the other day where it was just like a bunch of broom emojis.
But yeah.
That was pretty good
today, I thought. But or last night,
maybe. Yeah,
I thought so. I saw it too. Yeah, but dude, I mean, he, I mean, the guy is just killing it, and so not only did he beat Avery in the open weight, which was a great fight, then he beat him for the VFT, and that was one of the best fights. Honestly, in a lot of ways, I'm glad it went 3 minutes and it was straight and it wasn't like broken up into 2 rounds because it kept the action kind of going. Yes, we did. We shared it. Yeah, we shared that was on our network that had it. So, but also, I mean, there's so much about that fight. I mean, it was so close. It was interesting with the off the stage on one person, the other. He had a near knockout. Where Avery got him good. And I mean,
they collided.
Yeah, they collided. You're right.
200 pounds, right?
Yeah.
199. Okay. All right. You probably walk around at 206, right? You see the guy. He's a big freaking guy, right? Yeah. He's got some jackitude to him. All right. So when they collide like that, I mean, even though Bailey's as fast as he is, like it's just simple math. Like one of you's gonna have more mass than the other.
And a lot of times Bailey is like leading like with his head's open, you know what I mean? So that was one thing. And so it was just right there.
The technique of today is how you do that.
Yeah.
But I was loving it. I'm like, oh man, what if we had 3 rounds? That would have been great.
Right.
But you know what I think it was so great was it was very reminiscent of what some of the super fight finals were like at the Diamonds with like Jason Borelli and Hamid Feruzzi. Right. The reason I say those two is because
you didn't have to win by 2 though either, so that was good.
Right, but those two consistently went into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that's why it's like, all right, yeah, that final is better. That final is going to be better than the final of Raymond Daniels and Elias Lemon, or Raymond Daniels and
again, a lot of that is because of the 2-point rule, though, more than anything.
Right.
Yeah. So, but this was because of good judging. They weren't calling any little thing, and they were calling clashes that were clashes because there was a lot of stuff where they're both going in and it's jammed up. You can't really, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of things that look like they hit, but they weren't clean. So
we're going to talk a little bit more about judging later on in the show. I'm going to go specifically about like what happened on Friday with the judging, but let's not go into that right now. But so what I loved the most with this was that as I thought about it, I'm like, man, if Bailey is moving a lot, that could really work in his favor. And then he's just like, and I think he had to just look at it and go, I am a track star.
Yep.
I think he can probably look across the ring at almost anybody and go, I'm faster than you, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, right? And I mean, between the two of them, he is faster. But man, the technique of Avery's back fist just
it's so awesome.
It's so great. But before seeing it this weekend, it was already great. I just watched it be that much better, right? Just pick people apart. It was just that much better. So it was an amazing fight, 2 amazing fighters. It was really good. I did think in overtime that it was possible that Avery could have scored.
Yeah, me too.
I couldn't see the one because I remember seeing like, oh, gee, did that score? And literally said that out loud. Gee, did that score? And because I didn't know.
Right.
And he certainly thought it did. Right.
Yeah.
After his reaction, but I could not tell. Right.
Yeah, I couldn't tell either. It was one of those things. Oh, I think, but
is exactly.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic.
It was awesome. Good job, Virtual Fight Tour, for putting that on. It was cool seeing all their stories on Instagram throughout the time of having the table with having all the pictures of every single person that was there that had been on a VFT and autograph signing. That's the kind of stuff we need to do. So keep that up, Jesse. Keep that up, Virtual Fight Tour. And I guess we're getting ready for November, right? I think that's the next one. So
yes. I don't know if do they have a card announced already in November?
Not a full card. I know that Jerry Fondale is fighting. We talked about that before.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Him and Brian Crum.
And he's a guy, Jerry, who's always kind of underrated because he's always rating himself.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to talk more about somebody who's already talking about himself. So
and they better do a pre-show thing, an interview with him to hype it up a week or 2 before.
Like a few different times.
Right. That was still one of my favorite things ever at Battle of Atlanta was the year that it was Jerry Fontenelle's versus Brian Ruth. And during the day of the tournament, they do an interview with them to get everybody hyped up to come to the finals. And Jerry just killed it, dude. I mean, he just killed it. He's up there breakdancing. He's up there talking trash. He's like, you can't do it. I mean, he sold it, man.
I love Jerry. But if you're just kind of like going to a tournament and Jerry is there and you're just kind of like, I just kind of want to watch something entertaining, just
go hang around him.
Just hang around Jerry.
Right.
He'll involve you in the conversation somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Way,
yep.
Right. And he'll make you guys feel like you're best friends. Right.
Yeah, he will.
And I feel like, I kind of feel like he and I are good friends. And just from hanging around in McCarty tournaments, it just gives you that feeling. Definitely you're going to have a great time. Right.
Yep.
Well, where do we want to start with? Okay, we went to the end result. Love that. VFT. Let's do it.
Keep it up.
VFT is not ever going to let you down. I'll tell you that.
No. So again, we're talking about Diamond Nationals. In many ways, the biggest and most exciting tournament of the year in America for us. It's between that and U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But there were some it was cool to see all the different people there. At first, we were kind of like, you and I were talking like, well, who's really there? Who's this or that? And I guess once we really saw like the open weight division, we were like, oh, okay, this is awesome. You know what I mean?
Like the only
when you looked at the names at first, I don't know if it didn't equate the same way, right? When we looked at the names on Juventex or whatever, and I think there was still a lot left that weren't left. I mean, they were left out, right?
We were just looking at the men's open weight card,
right? And then you're like sitting there, and you're like, well, dang, all right. And every fight was good. It was great.
Oh, it was. That's right. So let's talk a little bit about. So
just a little bit, because again, if you haven't listened to the Raw, if you haven't listened to CTE, check them out. Exactly. You know,
we're not gonna talk about everything. We're not gonna talk.
And again, neither of us were there. Neither of us were there, but also we got actually a fans only view of it from watching the live stream, right?
Exactly.
And we didn't know all the behind the scenes stuff, which sometimes is good because we can just tell you what we thought from what we saw, and then how we think because we've been there. We've been, you know what I mean?
How we're able to interpret things,
right?
Just from watching it on the screen, also knowing what it's like on the other side because we've been there. There's one thing I'll say really quick. So we just mentioned we're watching the live stream. We're watching the live stream of sportmartialarts.com's. But you know what I gotta say, Jeff? I was thinking about this week. I think sportmartialarts.com, to a degree, has been carrying the sport on its back.
Yeah.
Let me explain. So when we say, because a lot of times we were mentioning like, oh, it wasn't on the live stream. Oh, it wasn't on the live stream. Gee, how come it wasn't on the live stream? We just expect that Sport Martial Arts is going to cover everything.
Every single tournament.
For a while, they were at every single ring.
Yeah, that's true.
Ring 15, live stream. Ring 10, live stream.
Yep, they had it that way.
6, and they had done that. And I remember sitting back going, like, I was talking to Mallory, like, how are you guys doing all this? Right? And there was like an iPhone or an iPad at every ring. And I'm like,
every ring.
That's gotta be freaking expensive.
Like, they did that at my tournament. 2 or 3 years they did my tournament, and it was just every ring.
Money, right?
Yeah.
And the amount of internet that it's going to require to be able to do that, the infrastructure for that is high level. And even without it, though, a couple times the live stream was cutting in and out that we were watching. So you're like, geez, if you had to do 30 other ones at the same time, there's no way.
Right, and they had to stop some and go back. So, I mean, they're killing it. Everyone give a big up to if you haven't said thank you to them, make sure you do.
They really have. To a degree, I really believe.
Yeah.
They carried the sport on their back. Because
and in other ways too, by doing the free virtual tournaments and stuff too. So they've done a lot.
Okay.
So we're talking about open weight. There was not a live stream of the women's, and so that was just like the rumor mill. They're like, wait a minute, Katana beat Morgan. We didn't get to see it, and we're just sitting there like, oh right. And guess what happened? You're like this, I'm like this. Like, this is gonna be good, right? Like we want to see what's going on because we've been talking about this. Who's going to beat Morgan? And Katana has been the one we talk about. We'd like to see, like, has a chance, but we haven't seen her enough.
Really what I said was I went the other way. I said it's Morgan, and then everybody else is just
right
there.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, Morgan, let's just talk about, for the diamond rings. She has 4 diamond rings.
Now.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now. All right. Katana has 2.
Yeah.
Of everybody else, there isn't anybody else with
right.
Because
that was the past 6 years, right?
Before that, I think, what are we talking about? Robin LaBeouf?
Oh yeah, Robin. Yeah, that's right.
That's how far back we're going.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Did Gina win one? I think Gina did, right? Did Gina finally win one? I think she did. She won after Robin, I believe.
I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at what we're talking about. All right. So that's a long time. Anyway, so they were there. Katana did it, and I'm reaching out to people. I'm like, tell me what happened. Tell me what happened. And they're like, it was legit. Like, she did it with everything. She did it when she did it with kicks. She did it with punches. She had it. She was on her A game. And this, we got to say, this is clearly her tournament.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Katana Everett.
some people have it where like this is like their tournament. And we've talked about that before, where like even I think the Diamond Nationals for a time period was Trevor Nash's tournament.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Where there was some times where that's just like he did that one and like the Super Grands. That's all
and that was it. Yeah.
That was all he
Diamonds
did for the year because he's like,
yep.
I'm not missing the Diamonds and I'm not missing the Super Grands. I need to win the freaking ring. Right.
Yep.
So you're like, all right, well, clearly this is your event. But she does other events, but they don't turn out like this. Right?
No.
Right. So, all right. So they got a chance to go. When they did the women's final, I'm watching it, and she did slip another kick that slipped and kicked Morgan in the head, snapped her head back, and I'm like, wow, she's got it. But you know what I think is Katana's biggest strength? It's not her kicks, right? Even though she kicks amazing. It's that she can move the way she does and kicks, because some people who can kick really well,
right?
They don't move. They don't move the way they do because, and Jeff, you might be able to recognize with this.
Yeah.
In the class, when you're kind of being groomed and you're an underbelt, all right? When you look across the ring at someone and you go, oh, I can just kick and I'll beat you. I'm clearly just better at this. I'm just going to stand here.
And then you're going to stand or go forward, and that's it.
I'm going to hook kick right over you, and I'm just going to kick you in the head. And you don't yet know how to stop that, which is great because you're developing that skill. The only downside is that now you're also training yourself and teaching yourself to sit in one spot. So when the other person doesn't come, you go, oh, okay, I'll just go to you. I'm that much better at you than kicking. I'm just going to do that, and you can't stop it. Right. So at some point, well, no, because I remember Katana. She did not kick like this, right? She did not. She had to move like this, and she had a power right hand. That's the way she fought. Lots of movement, power right hand, right? Not a lot of people do this. She did it. She developed her leg later, right? Some people go the opposite route.
Right. Yeah.
Their kicks were great, and then later on in their career, they're like, hey, I want to stay in this sport a little longer.
Yeah.
I'm just going to develop my hands and just work on that. I think nobody's done it the way Jody did it. He did it the best.
Right.
But she did it the opposite way, which is very hard to do. I think her movement, the way she's able to move and still be kicking, is very difficult to do. I can't do it like that. Right?
No. It was amazing. It was great to see. Let's talk about the other thing, the fight, because I know we're going all over the place, which is fine. We're on women's fighting right now. Talk about the fight and what some of the other women that you saw and what you thought.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so
guys,
just to finish up on that.
And guys, message right now, like write in the comments what your favorite thing was you saw from the Diamonds, either live stream or there this week.
Yeah, we'll mention it. We'll talk about it. So yeah, just to finish that part up, I think Katana was up like 4-3 in the first round, and then Morgan made it not that close.
Oh, all right. But again, for people that don't know, we started off in open weight. Now we're talking about the actual end of the whole tournament.
Yeah, I was going to the end result of the ring. Yeah. So
at the ring. So if you don't know, Katana Everett won the open weight on Friday. On Saturday, Morgan beat Katana for the diamond ring. So, they're kind of 1-1. But it made a story that we really needed in the sport, especially for women's fighting. So
there was a lot at stake.
Yep.
Because Morgan had 3 rings, Katana had 2.
Yep. If she won, it would have been tied. Yeah.
3-3. Then you're still asking yourself,
all right,
who is it? But Morgan put that to bed. She goes, no, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to avenge that loss this weekend, and I'm going to solidify myself as I'm the best one at this tournament. Right. So
right. And honestly, I thought just from the way the Plowdens are, the way that Morgan is, the way Avery is, that Avery was, and he almost did. I mean, it wasn't like he was that close from, and I think watching his fight in open weight against Bailey, where he lost, he did make the adjustments. He looked better. He looked, it was great. So, you can't, this whole thing of thinking, oh, well, I beat them last time, that it's going to be the same. No, I don't think that's a smart strategy or for anyone, betting, coaches, anything.
What's funny is along those lines, I had to fight Hamid in a team fight one time, Oh, it was Ross Levine. Ross Levine. When he and I fought team fights together, and he's like, "Oh man, you know how to fight Hamid. You guys fight each other in school all the time. You should fight him." And I'm like, "Well, he fights me too."
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah. It's not
one-sided.
just
Like
you fighting him. Yeah.
like he's just going out there not thinking about anything. Like, oh, I'm just gonna go out there and do my stuff. But I know, like, he knows me too.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So there's two sides to this thing.
To that. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
But
All
like
right.
what you were talking about, let's go back. Let's talk about some of the other women. I think the person I was most impressed with was Jimena. What is Jimena's last name? It's something I can't pronounce. It's something.
Yeah. Hold on.
All right. So here's I gotta tell you a story. So I see she's on Team Revolution. I knew she was on Team Revolution. I'm watching her fight. I think she was fighting Katana actually.
It's Inero. Yeah. JANIE.
That's
I mean
what I was gonna say.
EIRO. Yeah.
See, I was gonna say that exactly.
Yeah.
No, I was not. So, and I'm just, and you ever watch somebody lose a fight, but you just see their talent level.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, thanks, Andrew. And you're like, what, man, that was so close. Really could have had it. So I messaged Connell Loveless like right afterwards. And I'm like, dude,
right.
Jimena is about it. I mean, she's about it. I was like, tell her that. So he and I talked to each other. So later on, we talked to each other on the phone and I go, hey, did she know what that meant? And he's like, no, she had no idea what you were talking about. She's like, well, what is that? And I'm like, never mind. Either that's showing the cultural difference or the age difference or both. So
that's funny.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. But
so that's good. That
was pretty cool.
That's someone to look out for. See, now you're interested again. You're interested.
But here's the other thing I'll say though, Jeff. I think, and tell me if I'm wrong. This is the best display of women's fighting at a tournament all year.
Yeah, I think so.
Year. Like it's not just that, like, all right, they were there, but the fights were better.
Yeah, the fights were better.
Fights were so much better.
And there's just people we're wanting to see, like Brianna, man. Brianna Nurse is like, we're excited to see her go against these people and at a tournament, not just at BFT, you know what I mean? So it's a different thing. So it's exciting. We're going to talk a little bit more about her and what she's doing next week. But yeah, so lots of cool stuff going on. Congrats, Morgan. Congrats, Katana. Congrats to Jimena and Alexa, because no one has talked about the women's teams. I don't know how that went. I didn't see a stream or anything of that, but I know that they won women's teams.
I mean, they got the best duo right now, I would say. I don't think there's anybody.
It has, but even with women's teams lately, they haven't been a consistent, there hasn't been a consistent team. You know what I mean? Like Legend has great stuff, but they have a different team every time. Yeah. Even, like at US Open, it was Alexa and Morgan that fought together. This time it was Jimena and Alexa, and I'm sure at America it was those two that fought together as well. So there hasn't even been a consistency with just two people, so interested to see what happens with that. I'm just jumping all over the place. Let's just do it. Hey, but it was good. It was good to see the junior fighting. Actually, that's something that no one has talked about. Junior fighting on stage at the Diamonds. I was glad to see that. You had the 15-17 or 16, whatever, 15-17 grands. For the Diamond for point fighting on stage for boys and girls, which is great to see. And that girl is her name's slipping my mind right now. She's killing it. She won the adult women's teams with Hope Hamilton at US Open, and then she won the junior diamond. So, I
think we all want to see more of that, right?
Yeah.
The problem is the Diamonds show.
Yeah,
maybe
Casa de la Barrera, I think. Go ahead.
The thing is maybe the longest show now.
Right? No, it's not. Not even close. AKA is way longer, dude.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Listen, you guys were all right. All right, time out. Let's get a little insider. Let's get some insider. All right. So
I'm gonna immediately backtrack. Hang on. Let me keep
I know
going.
we can, but insiders, guys, listen. We have our fantasy team, right? And we have our own little group, and we're talking about the tournament. And I mean, it was fun, right?
Who was the funniest guy in the group chat?
Troy Sexton is.
Troy Sexton's the funniest
out
guy
of this world. He's nuts, right?
The best.
Yeah, Callie. Thanks, Jenny. And dude, you guys are like, this is the longest thing ever. I'm like, it's not even 3 hours yet. It actually ended, I think, at 3 or maybe right after 3. Okay. There are tournaments that go way longer. AKA is one of them. DC is way worse. Love you, Dennis Brown, but yep, that's a bad one. Well, I mean, if you've ever been to Super Grands, yeah. Let me
retract what I said and say it this way.
It feels like
it has way more events.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we want to see more of like the junior fighting there. Let's put this into context. There's 8 junior weapons grand championships in the finals.
Not weapons.
Let that sink in.
How is it? Not? No,
there's a 14 to 17.
There's 4. There's 4.
There's a 14.
No, it's not a CMX. It's not a CMX. It's just weapons.
All right, so there's 4. All right.
So there's 4 for weapons and 4. So there's 8 forms and weapons ones for juniors.
Except for juniors. So there's 4.
8. Yeah. 8 forms and weapons ones for juniors. 4 forms, 4 weapons. Okay. There's that. Then you add synchronized teams or whatever. And I don't know if they had a weapons separate one. I usually, again, guys, I'll take a break when sync comes on. That's just me. Sorry. It's just kind of who I am, you know, and demonstration. I've kind of always been that person. So demo is usually open in demo anyway. So we've talked about this for years now. Okay. Anyway, so I don't know how many they'll do for that. Okay, weapons went against forms. Okay, so they did it that way.
There's just so many, right?
Right.
We're not saying eliminate those divisions from competition, but why are they all in the finals? And if you want a representative of like the 13 and under traditional weapons grand championship, why we're even separating that?
But there's not. Yeah. Well, that's just
to have a performance, right? Like, like when you have to specify in it, like how much it is, right? Like, I think it's silly that we have to say the men's CMX weapons grand championship, and we're going to talk about that division later.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you're even saying that much of it, like, don't you just feel silly, right?
Yeah, but think about that. That grand had 5 people in it. The other ones only had 2. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things like that doesn't make. So where are we splitting up really? We're splitting up a traditional weapons grand where there's only 2 divisions in it and then the CMX has 5.
I got a great way.
So that's not really splitting it. You know
Here's how you go. Boys forms, girls forms, boys weapons, junior weapons. Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Done.
I mean, honestly, I didn't mind it the way it was when it was 4 and it was 14 to 17 boys and girls together, weapons for, you know, the same. That was honestly to me better. And it was a little bit more exciting because there was 4 instead of just head to head. Head to head is cool in some ways, but if one person makes a mistake, it's not that fun anymore. Right.
Speaking of fun, I think so. We should almost just screenshot some of the stuff that Troy says.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. All right. This guy, he's like,
I don't know if we should, but yeah. Anyway.
Probably not. Yeah, this is literally the worst. This is the worst thing ever. Right.
Yeah. He said that about 18 different things. Okay.
He's overall a hilarious, angry person.
He is.
Right? All right. Love you, Troy.
But all right, here's my thing. Everyone keeps saying more fighting. I actually think they had the most.
Cut some stuff out.
But they actually had the most fighting they've had in their finals in probably years. So let's look it down. We had team fighting. Okay. So that's 3 fights right there. we have both 14 to 17 or 15 to 17 grands, so that's two, that's three. Now we have the lightweight men's, we have the heavyweight men's, we have the 30 plus men's, we have the women's, and we have the VFC. So that's 8 fights right there. And I'm probably missing one more.
No, I think as far as the amount of fighting, this was pretty much close to ideal.
I actually
way too much.
think
Andrew is right.
The whole idea,
absolutely.
Balance.
Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame. It's just have the guy, just the one guy come up or the gal, whoever it's going to be that year. Hey, this.
I don't even think they did they didn't even do the thing where they announced every single winner of the past and brought them on stage, right? Which was actually what helped it.
Like we're trending in the right direction.
Right. I honestly, I don't think it was bad. I was enjoying it. You know what I mean? The only person who thought it was long was Troy. I mean, and we didn't even have to listen to somebody who was a terrible announcer, talk. So we'll deal with that in January. But
oh yeah.
So, but
no, we had one of the best announcers ever.
Dude, he's still one of my favorites. John Worley is one of the best, man. It's awesome.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, now let's get back. Let's stop getting sidetracked. We're gonna get back into
the having fun.
All right. Yeah. Since we're talking about weapons, let's talk about the men's CMX weapons finals.
All right. So the finals, the day, everything. So I missed a lot of the stuff on Friday because the streams were messing up and I was teaching and things like that. I went back and watched most of it. But I got to sit and watch Friday, and I was texting you almost the whole time, the CMX forums on Friday, right? I missed the creative division, so I didn't know what was going on. Found out Alex Riggs won. I didn't know that.
You've been on this guy's bandwagon for a while.
For years, since, he came up on the NBL circuit. Him and Hunter Orlowski did. Yep. This dude has grown so much. He was a rival with one of my students on the NBL for years, with Aaron Bailey. It was a great, he's doing it now. He just actually, from what I'm hearing, dropped out of college to run an Infinity School full time. So that's what he's doing right now. And he loves
his guys. Mike takes care of his guys.
Really Mike does, and so Alex, to me, man, he just kills it. He has some of the most. He's clean. He's strong, and he has some of the most difficult comma tricks there is. So he won the creative. When I watched the musical one, I was like, he went second. Okay, he went second out of like 15. Still, there was no one that had a better form than him. But his teammate beat him. His teammate went last, Connor Chastain. Here's the deal. This was funny, okay? I think in the creative and in the it's pretty much a 2-team race in forms right now, okay? Especially at that tournament. It's Team Infinity with Alex Riggs, Will Nevitt, and Connor Chastain. And then you had everyone kind of show up from JPM this time, finally, which is Alex Macias. Jake Presley was there, and Danny Ekin. So in the musical one, all 3 of the guys from JPM dropped and messed up. Okay. Everyone from Infinity killed it. Okay. So it ended up being like Connor, Alex, and Will, who were the top 3, right? And I think 4th was Rashad. So Rashad's that one who's kind of, by himself. He won the creative bow. So it was one of those things. Then the complete opposite happened in Extreme, where all 3 of Infinity dropped or messed up. So it was really interesting how this all happened. And that's a rivalry we're not really talking about, is Infinity versus JPM, but I think it's one we need to talk about. The Infinity guys rarely make mistakes, okay? Yeah. And they put out probably the most difficult weapons routines, and even in forms, routines and creative stuff. If you're looking at Will Nevitt's creative form, it's one of the most creative things we've seen in years.
It's not the cookie cutter thing.
No, it's not. So yeah, I mean, to me, watching the finals, so we'll go into
I think
this.
you're right. When you say it's Infinity, JPM, Jeff, you're right on. Can we just say this? Can we say right now, Mike Welch is probably the best forms coach
right now? Yeah.
Is he the best?
I would say so.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to mention who I think the best fighting coach is. Right?
As far as in all right, let's talk about CMX. As far as CMX,
CMX.
as far as CMX, yeah.
That would be the best way to put it.
I think it's hard to pick against for traditional against someone like Jared or Joey Castro right now, because both of those guys are killing it, you know.
Two different worlds.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, man. I mean, I love Connor Chastain. Yeah. Sure. Get that boy a diamond ring. I like that. Here we go. Here's Troy. Here's Troy.
Flying sidekick. Get that boy a diamond ring.
So we had Alex. Alex won the extreme forms. Okay. And here's the deal. And we're not talking about Alex Riggs. Sorry, Alex Macias. Okay. We have two Alexes. That's never good. He did. This is one of the things I have to say about Alex. His intensity was probably some of the best. He was explosive and he was strong. Okay. Alex can extend more on his strikes. I think that's where, his next thing for him to grow more. And then today I actually watched his creative weapon, which I didn't know that he did creative weapons. His creative weapon form is harder than his extreme form. The one that he won the diamond with is actually not his hardest form. Okay. When I watched his form that he did in creative, because, he can't do the flips and stuff. So instead of doing the flips, he's doing about 10 releases. Okay. In the form that he won the diamond with, he did maybe 5. Okay. Not saying that's a bad thing or anything else. He focused on the things that were going to make him stand out and make him look strong. Right. Without messing up, right? Without the risk. Kind of like what you talked about. Remember we talked about when Marcel won the diamond ring, right? What's going to make me stand out? What's going to make sure that I'm solid? I don't, So he did that. Yeah. So you got to give it to him for that. It was great. I still thought Connor had the most difficult form, the cleanest form. I just thought that. I thought if Alex Riggs would have landed his last trick, Alex Riggs would have won.
Let's say, in case there's any insiders that didn't see how it went down or really remember. So the champion was Alex Macias, right? He won.
Yeah. He went first.
And after he went, Connor Chastain went. And but I already know Connor Chastain's form. So I'm watching Alex Macias go, I'm watching it going, this is just a different version of Connor Chastain's form with louder yelling.
But Connor did his hardest form that he did the whole weekend actually on stage there. He did his hardest moves. Like, I don't know if people remember when we did the VFT for forms, he did a lot. We haven't seen him do some of those tricks that he did in that since then. So So it was cool, like the underneath the leg and everything like that. So that was awesome.
Then Alex Riggs
went.
He drops, and he was
on a freaking hard trick too. I mean that trick is insane.
He was looking great.
Then we have the guy, the soft style guy from DKS that goes and his weapon broke, or it flew across the room. I couldn't really tell.
It was a whip chain. And I remember thinking, like, because I'm watching the live stream and it just goes flying. And I'm like, this can't ever happen again.
Right. Yeah.
I'm thinking John Williams is going to outlaw this from here on out.
Right.
Right. It's going to be like, no, you're going to sign a waiver saying this. Because
then after that was Rashad. Rashad killed it, man. Rashad had one of his best forms I've seen. So I'm just going to give you my opinion on it and why I look at it differently. I see Rashad move a lot to get his weapon when he does his releases, right? So in my mind, that's a mistake.
After it's already
he goes after it and he chases after it, which also causes him not to have solid stances. I know he's working on it. Him and I have talked about that, and he's getting better at it. So that was just for me, that's what makes the difference between Connor and him. One thing also the comma guys have right now, because we're finally getting comma people who are getting respect, right? That's cool. They're doing like 20 releases in a form, which is so insane. So it's really cool, Yeah, all right. He said Mike Welch caught it. It was right in front of me.
That thing is coming out, that's coming like 100 miles an hour, and he just catches it like bare hand.
Yeah. Oh, all right. He said Rashad is today's generation of David Douglas.
Huh, wow.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Or Anthony or Atkins, maybe. Yeah.
No, he's right. David Douglas. David Douglas is more creative. David Douglas had that flair. He had the flavor. Anthony Atkins just went 900 feet in the air.
But Anthony Atkins created so many new moves. That were not around then. So
you're right.
It's just different. They had a different flavor. Okay. The only difference is Anthony didn't dance. Okay. David did, but all right. Their styles were different, like the way they did stuff. All right, but
I like the comparison. I like the comparison.
Yeah. No, I like it too. I think it is.
So after all the smoke cleared, here's how I had my 1, 2, 3. After it was all done, I had Rashad number 1, Connor number 2, and then Alex number 3. Alex Mencius number 3 because Alex Riggs dropped.
Yeah.
I think if Alex Riggs doesn't drop, Alex Riggs is number 1.
Yep.
And then it's Rashad, Connor, and Alex Mencius. Yeah.
And so what's funny for me is that I had Connor winning, but actually when I look at it, I didn't even have Connor making it to the finals. That's what's funny. Because Connor to me shouldn't have won musical weapons. Alex Riggs should have won musical weapons. It should have been Alex Riggs up in there. And Connor's one of my favorite competitors.
Yes.
But,
so you're saying you didn't even think he should have got okay, I get it.
Right.
Like, Alex Mencius over all of it. Alex Mencius is, and we're all just sitting here listening to the scores like, this is not real life. What is happening?
Dude, listen, it was a shock, but I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He killed it. He went out there and actually of anyone, I think he had the most stage presence, and I think he had probably the most intensity too.
Because I'm looking at his.
I don't think Connor. I think that's where Connor can do better at. I think Connor's stage presence could get more. He's comfortable with his stage presence is here, and he's comfortable at it. And we're all like, okay, like he has his presence about him, but it doesn't go above. Like you don't see his level go up higher. You know what I mean? And I felt like Alex's level went higher than we've seen him before.
Alex is a showman.
Okay. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like Jimmy Pham, right? Let's talk about Jimmy Pham. Jimmy Pham is one of the best showmen there was. But did we ever really go, oh, man, that was really more intense for Jimmy than we've ever seen? No. We've never. He always did that same kind of level, and it was just so consistent and smooth. And I feel like Connor has that same type of vibe, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
I get I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now thinking about it, I'm like, oh, all right, you got a good point.
Yeah.
But still, did you have Alex Mencius winning it after the dust cleared?
But I look at things differently. I know. No, I told you I had Connor winning, and Alex and Rashad were kind of almost tied. So, but I
think that was the only shocker to me was that division and how that one played out. And I'm like,
right. Oh, and then we're talking about JPM Infinity. Awesome stuff there. Lots of cool stuff. As we're on forums, can we talk about some things that are gone from forums now? There are no more beginnings of forums anymore, man. Remember when we used to be like, like this and that? Nope, just put your arm out and start going, That's interesting. So, Connor is actually one of the only ones that does some type of intro.
Or will have it.
Will, yep. Those guys, Alex Riggs does not. I even talked to Jackson Day. He's like, yeah, I haven't done that. I'm guilty of that as well. It's like, it's a lot. I'm not saying you have to do it. It's just something that's, was something that was a big deal before. It's kind of switched. now maybe it's the time to mix it up a bit, like not go back, but like make it your own, right? There's some things like that. Of course, we've been this whole thing of Wells that Korean forms don't get the love, so we don't need to talk about that much more. But we also need to get more Korean people out there and start competing. So, and putting out different forms than what is seen normally. Congrats to Haley Glass for winning both. Congrats to Alex. Congrats to Danny. Huh? Sammy Smith.
Sammy Smith, did she compete?
Yeah, she lost to her in weapons. Wow. And she wasn't on stage in the other stuff. So
I noticed that.
yeah, I mean it was big, man. So Mason Stowell, man, killed it. Looked great.
They're all great performances.
Yep, they were great. So it was really cool. I do feel like it was good to see Will Nevitt go up there and do his creative, and it was a amazingly creative form. He had that big stumble that made it a big difference. I think it could have been really close if he didn't stumble with him and Danny because of how creative it is and how strong and pumped up he was. So it was cool.
Here's a funny moment. Here's a funny dad moment here. So I'm letting the kids stay up late because we're watching the Diamonds, right? And I let them like, all right, Dad'll make a fort, all right, around the TV, and we'll watch the Diamonds. So we're doing that. We're watching the finals, and anything
getting there, Andrew. Yep.
Louisa is going nuts. My daughter's going nuts. She's like, whoa, Daddy, we're flip, Daddy. Did you see this, Daddy? Did you see this?
Yeah.
He's got the sticks in his hands. You're like, yeah, I see. Meanwhile, anything CMX related, Zachary's my son's just like, this is boring.
Really?
Not. But then when Mason Stowell goes up, he tries to mimic Mason Stowell.
Wow.
Like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
2 years old. And then when fighting starts, I'm like, I'm not prompting anything. I'm like, I'm going to see how this plays out. When fighting starts, he's just jumping. He's like, yeah, Johnny. Like, nice. You guys are awesome. You guys are fantastic.
That's funny. Right.
So clearly, my daughter has an affection for extreme forms. And
there was a lot of cool things with the 30 plus. Becca Ross becoming the first female to win 30 plus the Forms of Weapons Grand. She's also the first one to win a junior diamond, an 18 plus, and a 30 plus. Congrats, Becca Ross. It was cool stuff. She went to get Sam. Huh?
Are those juniors actually getting a diamond, or are they just rings?
No, it's like a diamond ring. I don't think it's diamond in there. Yeah, I don't think it's the exact same, but yeah.
I have one.
She was one of the last, one of the first ones of the juniors to get it. I think it might have been the first or second year before she moved up, and then so it was cool. Congrats to Sam for being in there and winning the men's side. Congrats to my brother Edgar Cordova for winning weapons. I was expecting to see him on stage. I don't like that. Again, you're putting all of us on there. Why not have all 4 30 plus on there? You know what I mean? Just do it. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it, but whatever. Also, there was another comeback which people didn't even know because we didn't get to see it. Ashley Lane came back and competed this weekend, and she won a lot of the creative forms and creative weapons stuff. So in the 30 plus, so it was really cool. But yeah, congrats to her for coming out there. Congrats to Becca. Becca won the women's side. Sam.
Martial arts in the 90s without hearing Ashley Lane's name.
I know, man. I know. Cool stuff.
That is really cool.
All right. We've talked a lot. We all know who won and everything. But here's the deal. This year, NASCAR released something, and they said, this is the prize money for the year, right? And they dropped everything pretty much like 50%.
Yeah.
So they dropped it to $500, They probably had just as many or more fighters this year than they did the last time.
And nobody, and when they cut it all in half, nobody really said anything because they're like, all right, obviously nobody can really expect that it's going to be the same. But now it's not only the same, in some areas there's more. So you're like, well, wait a minute now.
Rashad, AKA puts the winners on there for the Warrior Cup, I believe.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. So then you're going to be like, all right.
And Toronto.
The money should go back up because the competitors are back up.
They're back up, yeah.
But I said this when it came down. When it came down,
we both said this. They're not going to put it back. This is an excuse for them
to back up. Yep. And it's going to stay there, all right? But I don't know. Maybe it's going to be someone like Joe Greenhall. That once that tournament comes back, he would do it right away.
Well, why not? I think they should. You had 35 in men's open weight. Now I heard they gave 1,000. I'm not sure exactly how much they gave. But normally, actually, open weight would be more than that some tournaments, right? Like Atlanta at one point was 2, 3. There were certain ones like that. Amerikick, So I'm just saying, you had probably some of the most women that you've had.
Would be more than the overall.
A lot of times it is. Most of the time it was. I mean, you're talking about women's that had more than many other tournaments, and it's 500. The men's, it's 500. I mean, come on. I do think that the traditional side in forms is big right now. Weapons is still decent size. Forms was small though. Like, I was a little disappointed in that. I don't know why that is, and I think it's been a trend over the past 10 years that forms has just kind of stayed here, and weapons has gotten more. I don't get that, and I think a lot of it has to do with tricking and people either going to tricking or whatever. And
right out. That's not going anywhere. It's coming back.
But again, I feel like that has to do with people only doing one side of creative and not. Again, we're missing the kicking part, and if someone or a lot of people are coming in with the kicking part, and the judges judge it the way it should be, that it's just as difficult as the other stuff. Because there's a reason why no one's not doing it. Because if you bobble one little bit, you're getting docked like way too much. Talk to Charlie Lane about that. He loves docking everybody for even trying to kick. So yeah. But I'm just telling you, man. There's still more to do. All right, and everyone kind of feels like, oh, we're limited so much. Yes, you are, and I think the rules can be better, but there is still way more stuff for everybody to do. Because again, look at Will Nevitt's form. Okay, even Connor Chastain's creative form is one of my favorites. I love it. I still think they could all do more. My biggest problem with that, and I told you this too, they all look like they're warming up. Yes. They did not have the intensity for creative that they have for musical. Okay, and that's been an issue for years. I mean, some of the best competitors that have won diamonds and everything else, I hated watching their forms without music because they just acted like they didn't know. Like Reed Presley's one of them. Jackson even sometimes just wasn't as strong or as intense without his music. There's a lot of guys that I feel like we're not. And that's something where you got to have that confidence in yourself to just own it. You know what I mean?
Well, and there's some competitors that in the finals, they would take the music out.
Yeah.
Marcel was one of them.
Yep. Actually, the last time Will did 2 years ago, remember, his music wasn't working. And Mike just said, do it without the music. He said, yes, sir. Boom. It was the coolest thing. I don't know if you remember that. That was, and he won. So,
yeah. I mean, Anthony Atkins did the same thing. So, but then when you're talking about those people, we're talking about Showman.
Yeah.
And Will did it. Will's got to level up to go from where he could be, from where he's at.
He has a lot of potential.
Yep. You're right, Andrew.
Yep.
Okay. Where are you going next? I don't know where I want to go next.
Go and then we got to get into what's going on next week.
Good. Okay. Yep. So if you guys have not listened to Chris Walker's talk about what happened in the team fights, go listen to that. I am going to be a little bit more direct. He, I don't think, could do it the way he maybe emotionally felt like in the moment because he was a part of the team that was in question. So I can do it a little differently because I don't look like I have a bias. because
you were just sitting across the stream and watching it like us.
I'm watching it. And
yeah, I went back and watched it too. I was like, holy crap.
Right. Kevin Walker's display of kicking in that team fight final against Next Level was the best display of kicking the whole weekend, right? Kevin Walker has the ability to be the best kicker in the tournament. He really does. Right?
Yeah, he does.
But Kevin Walker is not just like check the box kind of fighter, like, well, me, right? Right? Like you're like, well, Alex, you're not gonna do everything. You're gonna be a lead leg guy. Duh. All right.
Yeah.
Kevin Walker can really do it all. All right. So, but if he decided like, no, I'm just doing this, he's the best kicker in the tournament. And that's what he was doing. All right. I have not seen things like this in a very, very long time.
In a long time.
Now, Chris talked about how they tried to protest the judges out. Joe Greenhaw was the one who said, and I didn't know this, right? Yeah. Said, these guys got to go because the open weight calls were ridiculous. There was a lot of just clear hits, and there's just nobody saying stop, nobody saying call. So it's like, okay, we have to change these guys up. But when you keep them in there and you just add 2 other guys, which is what he said happened, we took the 3 bad ones we had, we added 2 more. That doesn't change the majority.
Right.
We're still left with the same thing. How do we even know who these guys are? Right. Let us talk about this thing. Anyway, so it didn't change. On one exchange, I saw Kevin Walker, right? He's fighting James Poor in just the body position, the chamber, everything. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. Right? Side kicks James Poor in the chest. Hook kicks him in the head. Goes back. Side kicks him in the chest again.
Yes. Yep.
Right? Just literally all
and
makes
nothing, no call.
Pow, pow, pow. A beautiful combo too. And nothing.
Yeah.
Like I see if you say stop and like one person calls and like everybody says clash, but like you're not even gonna say stop. Nobody's even gonna raise their flag. Like it's got to the point where it's like, all right, this is a decision that's made. And this is why, and I'm gonna say this now, that display right there just loses all credibility for you wanting to make all kicks to the body 1 point. All right. When you have displays like that, when you're not getting any defensive side kicks, you're not calling any of the kicks, even kicks to the head. If we're even kicking them in the head and you're not even saying
not getting anything. Yeah.
Now you've lost all the ground that you've made towards making kicks to the body 1. All right.
Yeah.
Now those who are the ones kicking, which is a more difficult skill, all right, to be able to do, we're doing that, kicking them in the face, and you're not even saying stop. No, I'm not going to give up the 2-point kick to the body because now I'm literally handing more points over to my opponent because of you, not because of something I did. I didn't do anything wrong. You're the only one in this equation that did something wrong. All right.
Right.
I was so upset about that now, but
yeah, that was pretty bad. Really bad.
I don't want to sound like a next level hater because here's what I'll say.
No.
I did not know that all team fights were win by 2. I did not know that.
Right.
I was very confused as to why we were even going to overtime because I thought it was like 9-8, like, and next level was up by 1, whatever it was. Right. Next level was up by 1. And I'm like, why are we continuing this? This is silly, right? It's over, right? It stinks, but it's over. And I also thought like, this is really weird too. So, and then the equipment malfunction. They were given and they gave away a point. It really did feel like, come on now.
It was the longest fight ever.
Next level is, and I'll say this about Jesse Ray. Jesse Ray is the best fighting coach in the country. I said Mike Welch is the best like extreme forms coach in the country, right? Jesse Ray is the best fighting coach in the country. Look at what he's accomplished. Look at what he's
with young guys.
I'm not taking anything away from Richard Plowden. I am not. All right.
Or even Joe Greenhaw right now.
Or even you're right, because look at all them. They're right there. Right. Because I mean you can't argue with it. Joe Greenhaw's team, they're all part of his school. They went there. Right? And they're all swear by Joe. All right. And look at what Richard Plowden has created. All right. They won the rings.
But
man, there's just something about the stable
when you're taking
created. So all that to be said,
16-year-old,
don't do that, Jeff. All that to be said, judges, if you think he's that good, they don't need your help, right? They don't need your help. They're that good. They'll be just fine, right? Let's just call it how it is. If they're that great, they'll figure it out. They don't need your help. And it was really bad, right?
Yeah.
And you robbed an opportunity. I wanted to see All-Stars versus straight up. I wanted to see that. I really, and we were robbed of that, right?
Right.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the worst things I saw on Friday. And then, some of the other form stuff that I saw. But
now there were a few guys. Yeah. Here's I want to give some shout outs. There were a few guys that really just in the divisions throughout the day. Because I watched a few of the live streams, and then some Alonzo Payne FaceTimed me and just walked me around the tournament so that I could see different stuff. So I'm watching the stuff, and there's some guys that really had some freaking awesome matches that we don't know about because they weren't division winners.
Right.
Like, okay, I'll say this right now. So Dominic Craigle, who knows who the heck this guy is? Who the heck is that guy? Right? So I know who he is, obviously. He's one of my students, so there was a reason for me to watch him. He's fighting Tyson Ray. And I'm like, all right, Dom, I know what you can do. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, it's freaking Tyson. And you have one of those things, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
You're coaching your guy, and you're like, man, I know how good you are. But you're like,
yeah.
Let's see how this goes.
And it almost happened. And they let it go.
Fight. Was a 1-point fight at the end. And you're like, I wish someone was able to talk about you more, but you fought that great, but you weren't the one winning. So then I'm like, wow, I wonder what's going to happen between Robbie and Tyson. I didn't get a chance to see it, and I heard it was 11-2.
Wow.
I didn't know it was
that. I didn't know that. Wow.
I couldn't, and I'm like, I can't see that, right?
Right.
There's no way. When you watch Tyson fight Bailey in the first round.
Wow. Yeah.
First round, he had a fantastic game plan, right? I'm looking at it. This is where the comments with Troy were.
Yeah.
Right?
Great.
After the first round, I'm commenting on our group chat. I'm like, he had a fantastic game plan. He's like, yeah, what? Stand there and get blitzed? Yeah, amazing. Like, you weren't seeing it, Troy. Either that or funny. But no, the way he was able to do it. Have you watched? Go back and watch that, guys, if you're able to. Go back and watch how light Tyson's foot was.
Yes.
It would come up, and it wouldn't just go to the chest. Sometimes it would just flash up high, all right? And he would step back, he'd go back in, and his foot was always moving. So you're like, you couldn't really have a game plan as to where it was. And then Tyson's good. Tyson is able to come off of that as well. All right, very good game plan. Bailey adjusted in the second round, and it was he didn't adjust, and then Bailey won. So, yeah, I love that. But you know what else makes someone like Bailey, or not Bailey? I'm sorry, Tyson and Darren. Darren was the heavyweight runner-up to Avery. So good, and I'm going to come with an opinion on this one. They fight with their left side, right? CP couldn't remember is the left is the right. They fight with their left side in front. They have a bit of an advantage just because of that.
Right.
I'm telling you this right now. My son is of age to do that, and he's fighting. My son is
fighting left side.
He's fighting his left side. All right?
Yep.
So there's a huge advantage. It's not just like, all right, I can train your skill to kick with your left leg, and then you're right-handed. Right? It's just that if you're doing that, and the majority of people are fighting with their right side, right? Each time they fight you, right? It's different for them. Every time you fight them, it's the same thing you see all the time, right? Anyway.
Hey, so here's one thing that a team could do in the offseason. How about build a team around Alex Macias in fighting? How about do it? I think
that kid was good this weekend.
He was good this weekend in fighting and weapons, everything.
He had a rough first round, but after that, he started to come around.
Man, I mean, and he didn't give up. So big ups to him. I don't understand why they don't have two other fighters with them and have a team going.
JPM, who would you pick up?
I mean, I guess you'd have to like take some people from other teams, but I mean,
it's not stealing. It's not like
no.
Just someone can say no. You know, you
Right.
can just always ask. So, who would you do? I thought it was a really cool move with Michael Jefferson. I thought Michael Jefferson would be a great move, but it doesn't look like
I knew it was going to be one of those things. I hate to say about the West Coast Fighters, but unfortunately, they're not as active. And even when they get on a team, they're not going to other places. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of the Hungarians are active, Andrew. All the ones they have don't even compete in Europe anymore. None of them compete anymore. Richard Varies is the only one, and he's not even doing it anymore. It's his brother, Alex, that's competing. So Corelli does not have an active roster right now, really. They have new guys.
They do because they're so deep. They are
right. What I'm saying, of the people that are all on JPM, none of those guys compete anymore.
Correct.
They're all technically retired. So, yeah, I mean, you know, and Justin is not active. He could be, but he's not. Justin Ortiz, you know. I don't know. Do you pick someone that maybe is different that could be molded, like a Edgar Hermani, you know, who's on a team that maybe
on the same line, like maybe
yeah,
Coca,
like
you know what I mean?
Could you get exactly Coca? You know, I don't think Hector. I think Hector Solari would be a good one, but he's with you know, with Conroy. But again, what are they doing right now? So I don't know. There were several teams that didn't have teams, you know, because here's the other thing. Where's K-Talk at right now? Where's
hard
JPM?
Thing about that is that even when they picked up Alex Mancias, we scratched our heads, not because
we know.
It was because, all right, Alex isn't good. It's because JPM historically picks up the best fighter.
Right.
So it's like,
well, and it was a smart move because they were picking up someone young who was technically at that time he was still a junior, and picking him up to mold him into that, which I think they're showing it's going to work. But they got to have some other guys around. It's only going to work if he has leaders that can mold him into that, right? I mean, I had heard years ago they had tried to get Ryan George. Ryan George would have been a great one for that.
If they could do that, I mean, that would be great. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think that. I think he turned them down. You know, they had Cam, you know, and that was gone.
I don't think that ship's ever going to sail again.
No. So I mean, I don't know, man. All right, let's get into next week. Is a lot of guys. I think Rashad's leaving tomorrow morning for Waco's, man. I'm excited for this. Waco Worlds. Does it start Sunday or Monday?
I
put in there.
I believe that Sunday is
open ceremony,
the deadline for weigh-in.
Okay.
And I think Monday is the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony is really cool. So the opening ceremony
Monday. All right, Travis said Monday it starts.
Okay. Yeah. So opening ceremony is really cool because there's so many different countries that are there, and they all come out with their flags and they all do the walk. I kind of like the way it's set up at the previous Waco Worlds a little bit better, because the way they do it is they just have like some of the representatives go out and go around while everybody else is out watching. I really liked the way WKC did it. It was it was just very congested, and it was hard to really soak in everything. And you're like, oh wow.
All right, so I'm going to give you the U.S. lineup right now that Jared gave me today.
Yep.
So
the Waco Team USA. Yes.
Yeah. So we have Trent Spence is the 57 and under. Blake Spence is 63 and under. Huh?
This is for point fighting.
Yeah, this is for point fighting. Enrique Latona is the 69 and under. Bailey Murphy is the 74 and under. Lucas Allen is the 79 under. So that was supposed to be Tyreek's spot, but he got injured. So Lucas has taken his spot. Lucas was already doing light contact, so he's doing that. Both Spences are, so he's doing both. Trent and Blake are doing not just point, but they're doing light contact and kick light. So they're going to be all over, which is leg kicks, and the other one's continuous. There's no one in the 84 and under division. There's Henry Lamb for the 89, Troy Benz is for the 94, and then they don't have anyone for the 94 plus. Yes, Latona's fighting for US. Huh?
Troy Benz is minus 94.
Yes.
Oh, that's heavy. I thought he would be
for the weapon stuff. We have Rondo, Olivia Rondo for forms of weapons for women's, and Rashad is doing forms of weapons for men. For veterans, it's Java and Mike Simmons. So another thing we found today was that teams is three men. It's 3 men teams, 3 women teams, 3-person for each of those. So I think teams is going to be good, exciting. They have set up to have a great team right there. I mean, you're talking about Bailey and Enrique on the same one, and maybe put Blake in there, or even throw in Troy. You know, you have Troy and Blake and kind of going out depending on what you do there.
In the past, it's been 4-man, 1 woman.
1 woman, yeah.
That's just your country's team. So I do like 3-man, 3 woman. I think that's going to be great.
Yep. So pretty cool on that. And here's the big news that everyone needs to know. Bailey moved down divisions so he can fight Elijah. So we're gonna have Elijah versus Bailey the week after Diamond Nationals, and we're gonna see this, man. Bailey is not trying to wait to see if he's the best in the world. He's trying to prove it right now. And you got to give it up for that kid, man. He's killing it.
I've ever seen this before.
Like, just going out of their way to just.
What he's doing, I don't think I've ever seen before. Because.
All right, here's the deal.
In other times, though, Jeff,
I think Raymond probably did it, but there wasn't social media.
No, I don't think he did it like this. And here's
he did. He went every weekend. Right? I was there because we were on NBL and NASCAR, and he did both. You know, he went everywhere. He said, "Listen, I'm not going to go to the JPM sponsor event. I'm going to go to this tournament where there's better fighters." Raymond did that. Okay, so
you're right. Let me explain. So what I mean is, okay, like Bailey's going to the World Championships,
right?
Because he's like, all right, I'm going to be a world freaking champion, right? But no, there's a guy in a different weight class that someone thinks is better than me. I'm dropping.
I'm going. Yeah, got it.
I've not seen Ray do that before, right? Because
when he first came in,
the reason why is because, and like other guys like Ross Levine, you name the names, because in their minds
they were the best.
Justifiably so. They're like, I'm the freaking guy. I'm not moving.
Right.
You're moving.
Right.
Whereas Bailey's got a different take on it. Bailey's like, I'm so much the guy. I want you guys to shut what they call the heck up. And I don't think I've seen it before. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I've ever seen that where it's clear.
Again, I think some of that has to do with social media and the way we have access to it now.
Case.
Yeah, but I think so. I think we have to look at it differently. But anyways,
like it's pretty clear right now.
Get pumped up, guys. Go check out the Waco pages. I think their YouTube channel. They have all that stuff. I know you don't get excited about Waco Forms Weapons, but I am, because we get to see a lot of Americans and people in NASCAR don't know this name as much. But Arturo, and wow, I just messed up his last name.
You don't know the name.
Yeah, Arturo from Guatemala is a multi-time NBL and Waco world champion. He was the first junior competitor to get all 10s at a Waco World Championships, right? He is an amazing competitor. We're going to see him and Rashad go against each other, and it's going to be really good. And he's seasoned in Waco and how it is. So I think that's going to be a great one. Yeah, Armendarius. And his sister was a great competitor as well, Amanda. So that's going to be awesome. There's also some good guys from Italy there. Maybe there's some people from Canada. I don't know. I know Sam Gagnon is going. I don't know if he's going just to judge or if he's coaching. Maybe Lily is going. So, but Andrew, he has in the past. Yeah, years ago, Jackson trained him and Amanda for like maybe a year or something like that. So I mean, I'm excited for that. That's going to be really cool. there's so much good stuff. I want to see Enrique compete. I want to see all these guys. Mexico is having a good team. They're going to bring a lot of people out there. So yeah, okay. Francoeur is going. Jeremy Francoeur is going.
Oh,
awesome.
Nice.
And
Linda,
his
what
dad.
weight class he's in? Let me know if you know what weight class he's in. That would be interesting.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this right now.
And Hector is going. Yeah, Hector Soleri is going. CC is going. I think Paolo's going.
So this is going to be one of those things. We were kind of texting about this today. I think because we're bound to see Elijah versus Bailey.
We got to.
We're going to have to, right?
If not, then one of them didn't do their job, right?
Freaking anomaly type of stuff. All right. So we're going to see Elijah versus Bailey. And I was kind of texting. I was like, this is kind of what it was like when Roman and Raymond were fighting in 2015. Not in the sense that it's like, all right, we're trying
styles
to
or where they're at. Just saying the best in Europe versus the best in America.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. Just that. All right. It's like, all right, if you're a fan of sport karate, you will watch this whenever it is. And I remember I was trying to get home. I'm driving. No, I was in Minnesota. I was driving, and I was like, babe, I got to pull the car over. We got to watch this. And we literally just pulled the car over and we watched it on the phone. And we had to watch it, all 3 rounds of it. And it was fantastic. So I think that's what it's going to be like watching what happens with Bailey and Elijah.
Right. Yeah. I think so. It's going to be great. And apparently, I guess Jeremy's in that division too. So
that's going to be great.
Yeah. So lots of good stuff, man. I mean, it's going to be exciting. I think one of the Veras is in there. And isn't Alex in that one? I think he is. Or maybe because he was in the one with Bailey last year. I mean, the year before. So he's in the heavier one, I believe. Alex Veras is. But so exciting stuff. Cheer on Team USA. Cheer on all the guys we know. Just have a good time. Check out, I think their YouTube channel, Waco. So
do a good job with that.
Gonna be great. No, I don't think so, Andrew, because they're both world champions. So I don't know but you might be right. Who knows?
You're saying they're gonna try to rig it,
put them in the same round, which it could be, but I think they're both reigning world champions. So they're gonna try to put them.
We're gonna watch these guys fight.
Yeah, we're gonna see it no matter when it is, but they're gonna fight. So check it out, guys. Then there's so much more we can talk about, but we had a good time touching some points.
Another one next week.
Yeah, we got another one next week, touching some points that are different. Guys, tell everyone, hey, you know what? Bring the prize money back up to where it was. The numbers are there. Mm-hmm. They're just as big as before. So there's no reason for that. So, all right, guys. VFT, thank you so much for all the support. Great job at Diamonds, everybody. And this has
been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week.